Hi, hello, hi. So today, I want to talk about something a little weird. I don't know, feels like everything I talk about is always a little weird. Hi, welcome to my channel, I'm a little weird. So today I want to talk about intrusive thoughts and OCD, but it's going to be oh, okay, hello. It's going to be a little more of an anecdotal video. It'll still be informational. I mean, I won't be putting in, like, myths, but it's less research-based and more anecdote-focused, meaning that it's focused on my own personal experiences and stories. Before we get into this, big trigger warning, of course, talking about OCD, talking about anxiety, talking about intrusive thoughts in detail, so if you are easily triggered by hearing about the intrusive thoughts of others, then just want to prepare you for that, let you know what you're in for with this video. The reason why I want to talk about intrusive thoughts and OCD is because lately, I have been dealing with a lot of it. Here's my cat. He's being very disruptive, but I love him. Does this help? I feel like this helps. So for those of you who don't already know, I was diagnosed with OCD when I was very young, and it's something I've been dealing with to varying degrees throughout my life. I made a whole video about OCD and me. You could check that out if I remember to put the link in the description. I think specifically what I'd like to focus on is OCD, agoraphobia, and spirituality. Oddly enough, how those all kind of go hand in hand. I talked about superstitions in my last video a little bit and how superstitions mixed with OCD could become really unhealthy. But anyway, as some of you may know, I grew up in a household with a very spiritual parent who is still very spiritual to this day, believes a lot in divine intervention and messages from the universe and stuff like that, and following your gut instinct and people who've passed over giving you guidance in your life, stuff like that. And because of that, this parent often looks for signs, or will say that something is a sign, and will really trust their guts and tell me to trust my gut, stuff like that. I realized that I have an issue with that and that I can't really live that way, because if I were to listen to my intuition or my gut feelings all the time, I would just never leave the house. Anything with my mind could be interpreted as a sign. It could be anything, and I'll just be like, oh, that means I shouldn't do this thing. I shouldn't leave the house. My anxiety will get a hold of me, and it'll use that logic to logic me into believing that my anxiety is making sense. The reason being, there is almost no way for me to distinguish the difference between my intuition and my intrusive thoughts. They feel the same. My intrusive thoughts feel very intense, often are fear or anxiety based. I've been dealing with this my whole life, and so I've learned to identify these patterns, I guess. And it's not to say my OCD and agoraphobia are cured. I still, right now, I'm having a lot of trouble leaving the house. I can't really explain it. Sometimes it takes me a while to understand what it is exactly that I'm feeling, and it doesn't feel like I have exactly the words just yet to explain why I have this fear of leaving my house, but it just feels like if I do this thing, then this bad thing will happen. And that's a formula that's applied to a lot of different scenarios in my life. But at the moment, it feels like if I leave my house, or if I go and socialize, then bad things will happen. And the bad things in this case could be anything. It could be getting hurt, it could be a loved one getting hurt, it could be my house is going to catch fire with my animals in it, it could be someone will need me and I won't be home, it could be I'll fall behind, I won't be able to be productive for the rest of the week. It could be really anything. My intrusive thoughts they'll find something. Wherever the fear is, that's where my intrusive thoughts will be. So anyway, the other day when I was done at the clinic, I was driving to my aunt's house and I just couldn't shake this overwhelming feeling that like something bad was gonna happen. And I was driving and I was being like super vigilant, and I was just so anxious because I was so convinced fundamentally in my heart that something bad was gonna happen that day, and it made me want to go home. It made me want to not only go home, but make sure that all my loved ones are okay and send all of them home too. Just everybody hide in your house. And that's not healthy, and I am able to identify those feelings and identify when I'm engaging in that. Sometimes when I'm having intrusive thoughts, it's hard to detach from them. Making plans for the future is something that helps me get beyond the barrier of the intrusive thoughts. Like, even if it's traveling, if my intrusive thought is about flying, then I'll make plans for when I land. And thinking about those plans, thinking of the thoughts that come after the intrusive thought, that come after that threat, that usually helps ground me a bit. And this time, my future plans after the intrusive thought were this. I told myself, if I stay out today and I continue driving around and I go to my aunt's house and I get home and I get home safe, I'm going to make a video or make a post or something that just says, my intrusive thoughts told me I was going to die today and I didn't. And that's it. And I just felt like that was really significant because it is so hard in the moment when you are having those intrusive thoughts and you have this background of like divine intervention and believing your gut instinct and being guided by God or being guided by spirits. And when you get that feeling and it feels so like it's outside of your body, it feels so like the universe is giving you a message, it is really hard to not listen to that. Or at least it is for me. So yeah, just telling you, I didn't listen to my intrusive thought, and here I am, I'm fine. It's been a few days, nothing happened. I didn't have to stay home that day, even though my brain really wanted me to believe that I did. That's about it. This isn't like a really long or intense video, but I just wanted to tell that story and give my little take on why I personally need to detach from spirituality and detach from the signs from the universe and divine intervention and all that stuff. As much as I would love to do that because it seems really therapeutic to other people in my family, it's not something that I could do. Anyway, it's funny because the other day I was talking to my girlfriend, and no offense intended to anyone who subscribes to any organized religion whatsoever, but I was talking about how a lot of religious traditions, they are traditions, but traditions are also a thing that oftentimes people with OCD will develop, and instead of calling them traditions, we'll call them compulsions. So just, wouldn't it be funny if religion is just like a bunch of people who had OCD and just like anxietied other people into following the same compulsions, and now we call them traditions? Wouldn't that be weird? Anyway, that's it. I don't have much else to say. Let me know if you were interested in this, or if you'd like to hear more about it, or if you have any thoughts about this, or if you've been through something similar, or if you disagree with me. Honestly, whatever you like, go ahead. I'm open to conversing, and I love hearing your thoughts anyway, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great day and a great week, and you take care of yourselves. Alright, thanks. Bye.